On April 24, 1961, the legendary ship Vasa was raised from the water near the entrance of the Stockholm harbor. This ship is of a tragic fate. It sank immediately after launching, within less than half an hour. It happened on a sunny summer day, August 10, 1628. The 30 Years' War continued that time, a war between Catholics and Protestants. King Gustav II Adolf of Sweden, who ordered the construction of the ship Vasa, was fighting on the side of the German Protestants. He was a very successful commander, for which he was named the Northern Line. The ship got its name in honor of the dynasty of Swedish kings reigning at that time, Vasa. Its hull was 69 meters long and almost 12 meters wide. Its stern height was almost 20 meters, and the total height of the ship was 52.5 meters. 64 guns were planned on board. The king himself took part in the construction of Vasa. In particular, he personally approved the size and composition of the weapons of the future flagship of his fleet. More than 400 people were employed on the construction. By Sunday, August 10, 1628, everything was ready for sailing. Ballast was taken on board, as well as cannons, gunpowder, and cannonballs for the maiden voyage. The weather was clear, the wind was weak but gusty. There were about 100 crew members on board, as well as their families, since a magnificent celebration was expected. The naval base Alvesnabben, southwest of Stockholm, was chosen as the target of the Vasa's first sail. After setting the sails, the Vasa saluted with a broadside and set off on its maiden voyage. When the ship entered the open area of the bay, a strong gust of wind filled the sails, and the Vasa began to roll to the leeward side, but then leveled off and went about 1,300 meters more, reaching Beckholmen Island at the entrance to Stockholm harbor. There, 100 meters from the island, a new gust of wind tilted the ship again, this time much stronger. Water poured through the open cannon ports. The ship lay on board and began to sink with raised sails and waving flags. Aid quickly arrived at the crash site, but by their arrival, the ship had almost completely gone underwater. Rescuers had only to pick up the survivors of the wreck and deliver them to the port of Stockholm. Although the disaster happened not far from the coast, along with Vasa died from 50 to 400 sailors, officials, and their families. The main blame for the loss of the ship lies with the king himself. He was in too much of a hurry to build, and he personally approved the dimensions of the ship, which was conceived as a single deck. But the king wanted a ship with a maximum number of guns, for which he had to add another gun deck during construction, which made the ship unstable. Admiral Fleming can also be considered guilty. On the shore, it became clear to him how unstable the ship was. But he didn't dare with his power to stop the exit of the ship, which the king was looking forward to in Europe. The ship was found by divers in 1956. But it took 5 years to get it up. The wooden hull of the ship has survived 95% in the cold Baltic Sea, and a huge amount of work has been done to retrieve artifacts and human remains from Vasa's hold. It took several years for conservation and reconstruction. A museum of one ship was built in Stockholm, where anyone can see Vasa itself.